And how old were you or when you first started reffing?
Oh, 15. I'm sorry. I was 15.
What's up? Yeah, get your book. Oh, that's awesome. You and Carter sharing similar journeys. Carter's like a 20-year later version than you. What's up, Gabe? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad it worked out. I was able to jump on. I was having some computer issues, but I jumped on my work one. So,
Cool. All right, Mr. Jesse. So I sent you the IPR number two about an hour ago. Did you get it? Everything is in there correctly? Okay, good.
I I did, and I got it printed out and
Awesome.
um, ready to jot some notes down.
Yep. Thanks again for doing two back to back. It's amazing. Really excited, just for you and where you're at, in your career. So looking to break down some of the most notable plays from your game. We'll try to get to all of them. But is there anything you wanted to ask about before we kind of started diving into the plays?
No, not particularly.
All right.
Just well, the one that you'll see, if you see coach interaction, but he and I kind of have a little bit of a past, and I was trying to kill him with kindness until kindness didn't work anymore. Um,
You want to break that down now, or which timestamp was that?
it was
Do we have it
after I had
marked?
that I didn't see that yet, but I have a travel on the wing opposite of the table to the left, and the shooter does basically, well, not a harden, but just gets her feet set better. Um, and I call the travel, and coach isn't happy about it. Then we have a really ugly lunge step after that he wanted to travel on. Um, and I was opposite. I was away from the play. I come up on a timeout or something, and he goes, "Why wasn't that a travel?" And I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And he goes, "You called a travel down there, and you this." I mean, he just went off, and I said, "You're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to me respectfully. Otherwise, we're done." And he's like, "You're right. You're right. I'm sorry." So, like when I emailed you and I said I matched his energy at that point, I felt that I needed to match his energy. Otherwise, he was going to try to run over me, and it would have just ended badly.
Yeah, that's 100% right. We have to match these coaches. They come at us with a lot of pressure, and it's okay to give them that pressure back. We're going to do it in a more integral and respectful way, in a more correct way. But we do have to match them. So I love that you stepped up to the plate there. One thing I would change is just your immediate response, where you said, "What are you talking about?" Right?
Right,
Just
correct.
get
Yep.
cut that out and get right to your rule based explanation. So I put out a post a couple of weeks ago, just like don't react to other people's reactions. Don't get stumped or confused or slowed down by, in this case, like a comment that we don't think is a smart comment to make, and we're like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" Right? So just take that response one step further. 650. Let's see. I have a note there. You're coming onto the court to referee on the ball when the ball is no longer in your PCA.
Okay. Isn't NFHS network so hard to navigate sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Okay.
I like to step out on the court, and sometimes when the ball is across, but no need for you to like adjust and be staring at this play. This three is you, one is you, 35 is you. So these are all your plays, but you're still going to have. It's more about no need to step that far onto the court.
Okay.
Then 643, you have a no call correct as a defender is legal. Offensive player tries to maneuver around them. These, I like your decision to not have anything. I just think this is an ugly play that is nothing. It's a legal defender. It's not a foul. Not a good shot. Scores it though. Don't. What do you think? You guys have a travel here? Does she travel at the time? She initiates the contact.
I had to break this one down a little bit, and the only thing I could really see was sliding of the foot. Right there's a little subtle slide right before she goes to her bottom on her left foot. I mean,
My thing with travels is like if you have to slow it down and really examine it, then maybe live we should consider not calling it. I don't know if I'm coming to get this live. However, I could see why it is a travel. Like I could see the slide, so I mean I don't have a problem with that. I do like your no call though, contact wise. Um, let's see, what was some of them on transition plays? This is the notes for just Galen Carter. On transition plays, be sure to self-talk. Get your eyes to that last defender or the defender who can hurt you the most. On this play, you spend too much time watching the offensive player attack. So referee the defense. So let's just bring this play back even a step further. This is when I'm going to make the shift for my eyes. There's like a cue that you hit on the court or a marker on the court where it's like, right now, you definitely is when the offensive player catches the ball, it should be all right. Who's that defender? Who's stepping up to either block the shot? Who's stepping up to take the charge? We want to be able to watch that person for as long as possible. So right here, if I stop it, you're still on number one. Um, so just getting there, just again, shifting the eyes, knowing where to look, knowing who to look at, knowing when to look. This is a big skill that we don't talk about a lot in officiating. Is just getting your eyes to that right spot and being able to shift them,
I
with
feel that.
instinct.
I feel that greatly.
Hmm.
I got in my game last night, we had a crash, and one of my partners, a veteran official, he goes, Jesse, why didn't you have anything there? I said, because I didn't see the defense. And he goes,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
And
You're
so
wrong.
he
Yes.
knew, and so, yeah, and he was like, that's a great answer. He goes, now in a couple of weeks, that answer's not going to fly. I said, amen to that, sir. Yes.
Hmm. Let's see. 454 coverage. The black team is in a press. Let's see. Let's let this play out. So 454, black team is in a press. There are more than four players in the backcourt. At 450, you should position yourself at the free throw line extension and focus on middle of the pack or the second player of players in the press. That second group of players. So even you shouldn't be
Holy
walking
cow.
away from this play, right? You
I
should be just
bailed on that.
waiting right here.
Hmm. Yes.
The same position you are with your back to the sideline, just be free throw line extended, just right in the middle of this play. This way you'd be right in a perfect position right here if there was a hit to the arm or contact upon the catch. Got another travel? What did you think of the travel? Okay. Yeah, I like it. Bad feet. Where are we spotting this ball? On the end line?
It's where, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's that kind of gray everywhere.
Right.
Not really. Doesn't really matter that much. Spotting the ball is. I don't want to downplay it, but when does that ever become an issue? Shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Right.
Next
You're
play is at
basing
413. What is
if
that?
you're basing on the position of your inbound, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you got other problems.
Right. Do you guys see the message I just put through the communication channel? That one was pretty heavy.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
Those are my only two interactions of the night yesterday, my playoff game from each coach, and you're just not going to hear much noise after those kind of responses. Let's go back to 413. Although it appears there is no illegal contact to the arm of the shooter, it's important to note that plays that occur on the center side lane line are help plays because many times the C is stacked. At trail, you must be engaged and be ready to help. So that would have just been something that opened up to you potentially on, the outside arm. You were in a good position to see that. Just being ready to help on that play.
Right. And now
354.
stepping down with that a little bit is acceptable, right? Just on that.
Yeah, sure. Listen, you
Yeah.
got to position adjust, whether that's step down, step back, step in, step out. Whatever you have to do to get an open angle, that's what we have to do. Um, and be mindful and trail. You're not going to go too much lower than this, though. Like you shouldn't have to be really position adjusting below the free throw line. I don't really see any.
Right.
Maybe to
Okay.
step down below a shooter if you have to. Could be one play, but normally I stay up on. I stay 28 foot right around there. Next play is 354. Lead play. There's only one matchup on the C side. Oh, excuse me. Where we at? 310. 354. So yesterday in my game, I rotated one time. The game before that, maybe once. I just don't rotate very often. I don't find it necessary. I rotate if I think it's a great opportunity to. I think the C should really initiate a rotation if the ball is being trapped at the mid court. I think that's a great rotation. But I'm sure you've heard my thoughts. I just think we rotate way too much. I think it hurts us way more than it helps us. Based on where this play is, where the ball is, it's in like a critical scoring area. We have a cutter, so I don't have any interest myself of going across the paint here. I'm just going to stay put. A couple times we don't want to rotate are on obviously shots, drives. So I think this qualifies as a drive. Passes, I generally don't rotate on passes unless I know where the pass is going. If it's going to a post area, or I can see them setting up. Also, I don't rotate really on screens unless it takes 5 seconds for that screener to get called over, and I kind of can anticipate that. Those are really the only times I'll rotate. Um, Maybe if there's 9 players on one side, that'd be a good time to get over. But for the most part, I'm just staying put because, like I said, I think it can only hurt us more. So on this play, you start to inch your way. You're thinking about it, and then you kind of decide to go as the cut's coming, get
Yeah.
stuck in that area. Now you're backing up. I don't think you missed anything, but just make your movements purposeful. 310 awareness. This is something I mentioned at halftime because two signals from different officials can get the crew in trouble. Remind your partners of line responsibilities and only to help when asked. Okay, you guys marked. Shot clock.
Yep.
I almost called it out of bounds the other day in center. It was a strong side to me. The lead was all the way across the court, across the paint. But at the end of the day, you can't be 100% really from the center position looking at a leads line. You're going to get stacked. There's not going to be full visibility. From where I was standing, it looked like he was out, but then at the very end, I'm like, nope, trust your partner. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. That has to be like a whale. Like it has to be super obvious and a crew saver. That for
And
me
see,
wasn't a crew saver.
and I was doing a game, and in South Dakota, we go if that once that shot clock hits 25, we've got a backcourt violation if we start at 35. And we've argued and argued because we said, well, the time doesn't match up. Well, they said 25, that's how we go. Um, well, oh shoot, sorry, hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, sorry, shoot, my little one. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Can
Shot
anyone help
clock.
him?
Um, Backcourt, 10-second
Oh,
violation.
okay, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were pre-gaming in a game, and guy goes, well, lead if you can get that backcourt violation on 10. And I said, I will not blow a whistle as the new lead on a backcourt violation. They're like, but I said, if you're down underneath the opposite basket, maybe. I said, but I sure hope the center or the trail, whomever, somebody has it. As if the trail is engaged on a backcourt press, that center better be ready to glance up at the shot clock real quick.
Mhm.
You know, I said, but I don't, and I, as an R, I go, I don't want that whistle coming from lead. So because that'll get us in trouble. Because what if there's something you don't see from your vantage point? And now we've got a mess.
Yeah. I think there's
Thank
times
you.
where this. Yeah, I know. I know the feeling of forgetting train of thoughts. It's like too many tabs open.
Right.
I do it sometimes like 10 seconds apart. Like it's crazy. Um, what was my thought here? No, backcourt plays and 10
Like the
second
out of bounds plays.
violations to center and trail. I think whoever it's normally trails primary, but I think it's dual kind of coverage because the trail could be refereeing a backcourt matchup and not looking at the clock. The center has the 10-second clock. Same thing with a backcourt. The center could have the best look at it, but
Mhm.
not coming to get it from the lead, like you said.
Yeah.
245 play calling. What did the offensive player do wrong here? We want traveling violations to be obvious and accurate, especially on this play where the 3-point attempt is successful.
So this, so this is the play that starts the problem, what starts the coach's um, energy,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
So
The sheet comes up.
I'd be hustling up the court a little more to get in a more dependable position. We don't want to, think about positioning as almost two-step process. Step one is you want to be in a dependable position for the current matchup, right? But also having step two in mind and putting yourself in a good position to be ready to be, you know, reliable in step two. So in this case, if we look at it again, yeah, you were in position for step one, but then the play gets really far ahead of you. So showing more urgency here. If this pass comes, now I know I got to hustle up. Now I'm out of position. Quick kick out 2 or 3. I'm still in the backcourt.
Hmm. Hmm.
2:45. Sorry, I skipped past something. Did we miss something at 2:45? So what did the
No, it's
offensive
coming.
player? Okay.
So we're gonna have a inbound violation. We'll go back to the spot, and then I take it, come up as trail, and then 31 comes out on a 3 point in the corner, and that's where I call the travel because she had a pivot foot, then hopped and set her feet. If this is the one I'm thinking of.
Same
And so
point
now
here
I
with
should move
that
that.
that second position, trying to be dependable for that second position. So right here, should try to be right in front of her.
Hmm. Okay.
Upon review, what do you think of the feet?
Um, so
Legal?
so when she gets it, I had her left foot down when she gets it. Now it's a little ant. I get it, but she did hop and reset her feet, and that's what I called the travel on.
You're saying she catches it flat-footed here?
Looking at it now.
She catches with 2 feet on the ground and then hops.
Hmm. But there, that wouldn't make it a travel. But I
Now, looking at it from this perspective, does it give you any difference of opinion?
just be a little more patient.
So you think it's legal?
Looking at it now, broken down like that, yeah.
Okay. Would you guys agree this is legal? Good. Yeah, we're not touching this one. It looks pretty normal, just natural. Not nitpicking. You know, we don't want to nitpick.
No, I
Again,
get you.
travels we just want to be 110% because it's the most frequent play that we see because every new possession, every player that gets the ball, a travel is in play. So we're always checking the feet. So, but just gotta be honest.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I have the offensive player catching the ball before being established on the court here.
So now he's
We have a
barking at me. So he
let's
just
go
barked.
back. This guy in the black
Nope. So
He's
if you
on.
go back,
before
if
this.
you go, yeah, you got it back in the possession after the
There he
travel.
is.
So he's barking at me now.
Hmm. What is he saying?
He
You
goes,
hear it or no?
that was a travel right there, he said.
Okay. So I'm cataloging that in my mind.
Yep. Oh no, it was cataloged.
Hmm. Is there
So
anything
I
else
think
before
if
52 seconds?
if you go back for the first horn, possibly. If you go back, right, if you go from here. Oh, no, no, I can't. It'll be after this, but it'll be a timeout. Okay, so I think what happens after this now is I go in first horn, I'm going into the position, and then he's asking me about it, and he starts amping up, and then I matched him.
He looks red.
What's that?
He looks red.
That so now he's standing up because I'm coming close.
Saying what's he saying? You missed that? You got to call that
Yep.
travel? Okay, what'd
And
you
so
say?
now I'm telling him, so now I'm going, if you're going to talk to me, you're going to talk to me respectfully, or we're not going to
And
be
then he said
talking
sorry.
anymore. Yep.
And he
And I
put
said,
his
I'll
hand
keep.
on you.
And so
That
he
was to
knows me
back up.
enough. Yeah. Well, and he knows me enough, but but yeah, it looks bad in that sense. But I
No, no,
tried
I
to
didn't think it
talk
looked
him off
bad.
the ledge.
No, listen, I don't want coaches touching me and vice versa, but I only made that point because his energy changed when he grabbed your elbow. Like, okay, I'm sorry. It seemed
Yeah,
body language
yeah,
wise, but
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
mind
you're
that
right.
kind of. I don't mind that kind of grab. Listen, we got to lay down the law. It's one thing I've gotten even clearer on. I get clearer with coaches each year I go on. Like what you just did, we're not going to talk to each other that way. Like that's establishing a communication guideline. Most people don't want to talk about the way we're speaking to each other. They don't call them on that. They just talk about the play.
Well, I had
You're not going to be
one
able
of
to.
my partners last night on our way back. We were talking about a coach that gets he's a little ridiculous, and he says, you know how I combated that? I said, what's that? He goes, do you allow your kids to do that in the classroom? And he goes, no. He goes, then why would I allow you to do it here?
Exactly.
And and I guess he got really the guy got really upset because he's like, how dare you talk to me that way? But I'm like, fair point,
Uh,
man. So
how dare you say make the classroom analogy?
yeah, basically,
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
How dare you not respect that? That's the how
yeah,
dare you.
yeah,
How
absolutely,
dare you talk to me? Um,
yeah.
52. What did we miss? Positioning. Positioning signals on this 3-point attempt. You should position just to your left to see in between the shooter and defender closing out. On this held ball signal and point, be sure to tuck your pinky.
I've been working on that. My games after this really hard.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So, boop, strong. Just thumbs, pop it straight out or diagonally, and then strong point.
Bad habit. Yes,
You're
where's
not
the
the only one.
hops to go get that ball right there?
And I gotta, okay, so let me, so I did a game last Saturday and it was a boys game. And of course we do the captain's meeting and everybody's taller than me, right? Um, so we go to start the second quarter and this kid walks past me and I'm just talking to him and the kid out of bounds ready to throw the ball in is standing there. And I said, man, I really miss when I was that tall. I just, man. And he goes, right,
Mhm.
what? He's like, wait a minute. I said, it's a joke, dude. I've been this short my whole life. So
Mhm. Got to throw in a
yeah.
little humor to
And I
humanize us.
I think my assigner does it sometimes too, because there's a couple of guys here that are over 6'5" in our association. And there's times where I'll be the R and we'll be standing on the court and I'll go like this and I'll go like this. I said this was done on purpose.
Mm.
So
Been
yeah.
there. Well, Paul, you know Nate Kervillian. He's like 6'9", and I ref with him, and I'm 5'6" on my tiptoes, you know?
Did you just pad Nate's stats? Is he like 6'5" or is he 6'9"? Is he 6'9"?
I think he's actually in that between 6'8" and 6'9". He tells people
Oh
that
wow,
he's, yeah.
he
So
is tall.
he's up.
I don't like to nitpick freeze frames of body languages or posture, but I would say keep this behind your back for like the national anthem or pregame warm ups would be good.
Oh,
I know
okay.
it's not a big deal here. I've been having my hands like touching my hand, just kind of have them here.
Oh, okay.
Just those random like right now, it's just a random pause in the game. It's like how am I going to stand? I do this all the time.
Is
Um,
a hand is like this? I mean, does
I don't like to keep it by my groin area.
well,
Again, that
that's true too, I
pregame.
guess.
These are what you're doing now and what you just demonstrated. Pregame, warm ups, layup lines, handshakes. Keep it there. But in game posture, like athletic arms or hands by your side, or just more present. Again, this is a
Okay.
nitpick.
No, I like it. I've never. That's never been something that's ever been brought up. So when you say it that way, it, yeah.
Does anybody have any thoughts of a quick snapshot, like what a coach or player might just think of the language? And again, we might be over, looking into it, but just does anybody have any
I would say
thoughts?
just like when I quick look at it, it could come across as almost like that annoyed, like with the little head, the arms behind, like, oh, the ball is stuck. So, almost like disappointed, like, oh, but you're probably
Well, I'm
really adamantly just like, oh, I catch my breath here. We got
yeah,
47
right.
seconds. You're running, you're trying to say, to Paul's point, this is something that I've really had to work on because I was always like very rigid and very like stiff and formal and I've tried to relax
Robotic.
that a little bit and be a little bit more athletic. I like that word. Nobody's ever told me that, Paul, but like I like that. Like be athletic.
Yeah.
You're on the court. Be
Hmm.
athletic. How do the players look? And even the hands on the hips, like, okay, everybody's kind of standing there, what we do, kind of things. But yeah, I talk with my hands a lot too. But that's just
Hmm.
my first perspective. Like when you couple it with arms behind and then kind of the head, and you just kind of, I don't know, just a
Well, if
snapshot.
this is, and like what Paul said, if this is the only image a coach gets, I mean, it doesn't look the greatest when you see it in that light. And, it does when you say that it looks like I look annoyed, looking at it now, like, yeah, yeah, it does look like I'm annoyed. I probably was. I don't know. But,
If it's me, I'm like, man, I wish I was tall enough to jump up because that'd be really cool
oh,
right now.
well, I'm, I think I'm telling people, well, it's not going to be me, you know, and I'm never doing that because it's just one more reason to go, oh, you can't even make it. I'm like, no, you're doing it, you know.
And you're still in the position. You got about a 20 count going on. Hey, you look patient though.
So,
You're just
oh,
you're
hey,
patiently waiting.
speaking of that, you know who Kelly Pfeiffer is?
Well, I'm not sure. Sounds familiar.
Uh,
Who's that?
Big Ten. He's a Big Ten men's. He's
Oh
from
yeah, yeah, yeah.
West River,
North
South
Dakota
Dakota.
or South Dakota. Yeah, yeah.
He's from South Dakota, and he has
Hmm.
those two iconic deals of him on the chair getting the ball, and then with the Iowa coach last year
Yeah.
jumping his
Um,
backside and him just staring at him. And he's come to some camps of ours that we have here, and just picking his brain is fun. Just like if you watch NFL, Brandon Cruz, we get all excited officiating names in South Dakota. There's not
mhm.
very many of us that go that far. Um, so it's cool to have those networking things too. But I just you talking about me being there with that and that image, just it made me think of Kelly Pfeiffer.
Mm. I wanted to tee that Iowa coach from my couch. I still do want to tee him from that. That wasn't a good look. Um,
No,
so what does the defender do wrong here? Tell me why you called a foul. Let me be the coach. Jesse, my defender's legal. How is this a foul?
when you go back,
What are you gonna say?
I would go back on it. I was reading the deal.
Okay.
Hey,
Jesse, how's that a foul? How's that a push?
I have I have the push just because she was going into the shooter at the time, but there was movement there anticipated. Um, I had it that the defender pushed her with her body while the shooter was up in the air as she was moving with the shooter.
Do you still agree with that based after watching it?
If I had a more patient whistle, I would probably take this one back as well.
So, so then let me. So then give me the real response then. Uh,
To the coach?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't have to use it. Like it's like a bullet in our holster. It's a get out of jail free card. But if I feel like I didn't like the whistle and I know, in real time that I didn't like it. Paul, how's that a foul? You know what, coach? I could see why you don't like it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't really love it either. I'm going to give it a look and hopefully not make that mistake again. What'd you see, coach?
One one that I use is, and it's on the tableside communication PDF on NFHS. It's like, Coach, if that's how you saw it, then I missed it. If I say, Coach, I have her pushing her up on the shot, no clear place to land. Uh, I have it as a safety issue, Coach, and be like, oh, I think you're wrong. Be like, well, Coach,
I wouldn't
if I
I
missed
wouldn't
it,
bring safety issue into it unless there's a real
unless
safety
it's
issue.
real
Like,
obvious.
yeah. Or unless authentically you think there's safety in jeopardy. In this play, I don't think there's safety in jeopardy. Um,
Right.
I'm trying to think of like safe, like I've had held balls that I've stopped a little early because I felt like it wasn't going to be a safe landing. Like, they're tugging, a player's about to fall. Boop, boop, just kill it. I would respond, hey, I killed it a little early, coach, but it was for the player's safety. The other day, I stopped the game because there was a sneaker on the court. Now, you would have to pull up the rule about that. I'm not 100%. I don't think we should stop it. If the sneaker was like out of the way, I wouldn't have stopped it. However, there was players around it, too close, in my opinion, that they shouldn't have to worry that there's a shoe on the court. Like, I don't want you turning an ankle. So coach could be like, Paul, how do you stop that there? I understand that you might have had an advantage. However, player safety was in jeopardy, so I stopped it due to safety. So that's kind of when I want you to use that word because that's a big word, or it means a lot. And I don't
Hmm.
want you to just throw it out there on like a little marginal play. So let this one go. Offense initiates on a legal defender, plus the play is going away from you now. As soon as it starts going away, now okay, I could see a little bit of arm contact, but does she hit the ball first? Was this a body play, body ball? Or does she not hit the ball? Yeah, I just think it's offensive initiated contact. So she's creating that contact to get into her shot, and the way she absorbs the bigger player, she moves back. So it looks like kind of throws us off.
One of the things I picked up on this year, somebody pointed out, and I've been trying to work to use this. Like here, you have that white volleyball line. Watch the defender. She starts on the hoop side of that line and never crosses it. And the offense starts on the opposite the hoop, closer to the free throw line, and ends into the line. Like if you get to that earlier, like it's helped me a lot on just referencing, getting where their feet are, and then I can say, Coach, I had a good look. That she never came into the defender. She stayed on her line. And these courts that have these extra lines, sometimes it helps.
That's Thank you. That is a great tool. I'll definitely
Hmm.
put that into play. Um, Watching those movements like that for sure.
Jesse, you thought you were just getting me giving you feedback tonight. We got the team here.
No, I like it. I like it. And that's the one thing that, I just told people that I'm excited to get different perspectives from different areas. So,
Mhm.
um,
I would say a response for the coach on that one, if you didn't want to use your get out of jail free card, would be Coach, the defender made illegal contact with the torso that affected the offensive player's ability to shoot the ball.
Carter with the perfect responses.
Now with this
Do you have?
play,
Mhm.
um, because we have 31 coming across, I'm going to take this white player at 3. So that's why I kept the call because
So all
I,
secondary defenders that originate in the paint area are the lead's primary responsibility.
mhm.
So this player number 3 originates in the paint, lead's responsibility. She moves forward. So like now this is where the gray area and the art of officiating come in. If we look at this play on the diagram, it's going to be the lead's responsibility. If we look at the actual real life version of it, well, the lead is a little stacked with 23 in his way. So I believe it's a dual area play. So I can understand why it's a double whistle. Remember, double whistles, we just want to post and hold. Don't show me halfway calls on double whistles. Just keep it there, keep it simple. And whether you say something in the pregame, like on a double whistle, like let's let the primary official take it, or I'm going to give you a little head nod, or I'm going to look at you, or you just go off feel for the moment. Um, you look a little shaky here. Foul. You're coming in to show block. I already know you're like coming in to show block. I don't even want you to like show that much. Just post, hold, wait. He
Mhm.
has nothing. He keeps his fist there. Now you take one step in and a strong block. This is that like late signal where the crash happens and people are like looking at the refs like, what's the call? What's the call? And then you come in late. And a lot of times when we deliver this late signal, we're like reluctant to give it. It doesn't feel good. You don't even want to give it,
Mhm.
right? It's like,
Mhm.
all right, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. I agree that with the call, definitely block. Defender moves forward on contact. So yeah, cadence whistle. Um, Block technique, I like to go with the Y shape. So foul. Hello. Watch out for the kids' toys. Foul. Y shape. Staggered stance. Strike the hips. I sent you a couple blocks in the video
Yes.
today.
I was just watching that as the time was getting to 6 or 8 for you guys or
Yeah, sorry about the late send. It's like the latest I've ever sent an IPR to someone and then like met with them right
you're
beforehand.
good.
But I just figured we'd lock in the day and I would get the IPR to you
Hey,
then
you're good.
beforehand.
You're good.
Thank you.
So here's a tactic because I know coach isn't liking it. Um, I'm further out on the floor than that way. Um, well, I was, but that way, if he's going to come at me, then this video shows he's coming at me. So then if I have to make a decision on his conduct, it makes it more sellable. And the reason, and that's the case, is when I first moved to this area of South Dakota, I was a young official and everybody was going to know I knew what I was talking about. Well, that created some very, very bad habits. Um, so like when I moved out here, any technical I gave, I had to answer for. I was getting phone calls like, why? What happened? Could have you changed things? So I'm more reluctant and more making it obvious that it has to be done. Um, and it doesn't make it right. It's just how my assigners and higher ups have had my expectation. They want me to kind of work through these issues until there's no way to work through them anymore. Um, more of a sensitive way than others, I would say, or other officials.
I would always lean to doing what's best for the game. When we have these questions about like with assigners, and I always go for the game over the assigner. I let that steer me. I feel like if I'm doing what's best for the game, then the signers are gonna, at the end of the day, be happy more so than when you try to. I know we don't want to have headaches and we try to reduce as much friction as possible, but don't go out of your way to like overthink the coach's reaction of your call. So 428, just a good point. We
28.
can't let illegal contact cause violations. This could happen on out of bounds pushes. So we may not rule that a foul if it's in the center of the court, but since it's near a line and it causes a turnover or violation, then I would probably call a foul. Same thing if it's a backcourt play. If you bump me into the backcourt and I lose my balance and I cause a violation, well, now that's a foul. That same
There's a
contact
consequence.
elsewhere might not be a foul.
Hmm.
You almost want to have that additional layer of a thought process where you may say, "Oh, like I'm not going to naturally ignore this contact where I might on other possessions because there's another factor here." Three 12 rotations. As a jump shot occurs here, you are not more than halfway done with your rotation. Best decision here is to back out of the rotation. Keep the crew steady and not compromise rebounding coverage. Yep, no need. No need, right? Just move to improve. Move to improve our vision, our look. Make purposeful, intentional movements, not extra. I think there's just a notion that how long you been doing three person? A long time.
15, 15 years maybe.
Yeah, I see a lot of younger officials like they just feel the pressure of having to rotate over a lot. And they put the pressure on themselves. On 28.
Oh, square
Yeah,
up more.
yeah. Just square up, having your shoulders, open to every matchup you're working. Every, jump shot, every open angle, your shoulders should be perfectly square to it for the most part.
Watching my game from last night, because I tended to pinch really hard towards the beginning of the season and into here. Um, but now I try to be wider, deeper, more square. But yeah, I always had a bad habit of coming down to that free throw line, lane line extended, and just live there. And I'd get in trouble.
That was nice. They let the boys warm up during halftime. I've never seen that.
Yeah, we don't have any rules of keeping them off the floor during a break like that. There's a fun fact though, in the last week, we've had a 100-degree temperature change.
Wait, what does that? What does that mean? What does that even
We
mean?
were negative 30 a week ago, and now we're about 60
Wow,
within a week.
wow.
Rapid City had a
That's
103-degree temperature change in a week.
that's why they call it Rapid City.
Yeah, so like where I'm at, I'm just a little over an hour from Mount Rushmore,
I didn't even know Mount Rushmore. Oh wait, you're in North or South Dakota?
South Dakota,
Okay.
the only one that matters. Just kidding.
No, no one cares about North. It's
I
it's
guess
less
not.
populated.
Well, it's very open.
Who would win in a state battle, the Carolinas or the Dakotas?
Ooh, that's a good call.
It's a good
You
one,
got
right?
a lot of farmers, a lot of, a lot of farmer and ranchers with lots of places to bury.
What
That's
town
right
are you
on.
in?
I'm in Belfouche. I lived in
Okay.
Spearfish.
I come to Newcastle all the time.
Oh, okay.
So My cousin's got a
Yeah.
big ranch in Newcastle, and so I was out there this fall to watch him play football. They play for Newcastle, so
Oh, I actually got an email from somebody from Newcastle. I'm going to train a bunch of their fast pitch umpires that they have. So,
Nice.
um,
when I
yeah,
come out next time, I'll have to look you up.
heck yes, absolutely. Yeah, the other side of South Dakota where I was from is pretty flat and pretty boring.
Why don't you pick a couple plays since there's a bunch left? Where do you want to go
Um,
next?
there was, well, let's see. I didn't get a chance to read through this all the way.
It's
Uh,
understandable. It's understandable why you wouldn't.
occurs below. Oh, okay. So 608, you had this down in my other one too, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So we have 608, and we're below the free throw line, and you say for the lead to administer that. Um, for us, we get nailed on that one. They tell us to bounce and go,
It's the
even if
same
it's
in
that deep in
Wisconsin
the
too.
corner.
They tell you to do what?
Bounce and go. So like where coach is standing now, I put put the girl there and I go, I'm bouncing it, spot throwing, and then I back out.
Maybe I was giving you the college NCAA men's mechanic what we do there, but
Okay.
not a biggie.
I
That's
was,
fine.
yeah, yeah. No, sorry. I was curious in that, like I was
Yeah,
wondering.
high school stays. We don't administer from the lead. College lead would take that.
Yeah,
It's like a
there was one
547.
547.
Um, Play calling. At the time of the contact, the defender's arms are not in a vertical position, and she contacts the shooter's arms. Once she feels herself foul, then she puts her hands straight up. This play is open to the center official, and defensive foul should have been called.
So is that one I'm going to come and get after giving him a shot at it?
I think you might have the best look because the contact is more towards her left arm, which is closest to you, and it is kind of curling towards you a little bit, and it is your defender.
Yeah, I've been that 543. I've been told that so many times. I've been told that wait till the player bringing the ball up gets to the free throw line at 543 um coming up the floor.
Sure. I just want to touch on 547. Would you agree
Oh,
that
I'm
this?
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks for
I
all.
should have come and got that one. Um, yes.
When players over accentuate like verticality or pulling their hands back, a lot of times they did something wrong. Just a little context clue for you guys to keep in mind. Doesn't mean it's a foul when you do this, but it's an indicator. Um,
Teenage kids are gonna teenage kid. And see, and to be honest with you, Paul, if I would have blown on that one, some of my higher ups would have said, "Don't you call that. Have more of a patient whistle."
I thought we were your higher ups.
Well, now, yeah, they're getting jealous, man.
They're getting jealous because you're rapidly improving your game.
Well, and it's only been the last few years where, I've had some really strong mentors. So I'm still
Mhm.
working through a lot of bad habits and a lot of
Yeah.
self-confidence issues when it comes to it. I do, and you said overthink earlier. That is a key word in a lot. I I try to like see the words of the rule in my eyes before I blow the whistle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to break out of that habit just to let things come a little more naturally and not anticipate. So a lot of these is like overcompensating for one partner the last game he worked had a really big snafu with a free throw with the other partner. I've I had he's really green, so I felt maybe I was overcompensating a lot. Um, so yeah.
252, just stopping the clock with the same hand. So in order to do that on these plays, you just got to be a little bit more patient and know which direction we're going before your hand goes up.
Oh, like not this, but this.
There you go.
Had an evaluator say, "Don't do that. You go across your body." And we went, "Okay." It's where we smile and nod. And
Hmm. Thanks for your feedback.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
noted. Put it in the bank. Let's
Tell me about your interaction on 129 with your boy.
see. So before, all right, this is good. So before the game, he goes, "Well, Jesse, when can I do this? Can we throw the ball off of somebody? Whatever." I answer the question before the game. And if you watch during the warm up, you'll see me talk to him, all that. Anyway, so we have the situation of the newer rule of our, and South Dakota was one of the, I don't know if other states were, but we were tasked in being, um, doing the experiment of the delayed dead ball signal if a player runs out of bounds. And then if we have that, what we did have was that play there. What he didn't understand was that he goes, "Well, she got 2 feet in bounds." And I go, "Coach, that's not that rule." I said, "She can't be the first to touch it." And so he wasn't going to listen. So that's when I just, all right, we're done. Yep.
I don't see any reason for you to have a conversation here. You should be running back as the new lead. It seems like you're just kind of waiting to engage, and your responsibility too. Look, you got all these players behind you
Oh, my
too.
heavens. Yes,
You
sir.
know, I'm not acknowledging this coach at all on a play like this when I'm supposed to be rotating down. The trail can get any conversation he wants to, so don't open up these threads with coaches if we don't need to. I very rarely start a conversation with a coach unless
I'm
it's a
actually,
rapid response.
this is going to be good because I'm going to have him tomorrow.
Great.
And this is a winner goes. So we have a format where we have a regional format. We have 8 regions in 2 of our classifications. So then what we now go to is a SODAC 16. So the top 2 teams, or the 2 teams coming out of each region, then get seeded based on their power points, and then those 8 teams that win go to the state tournament. Well, this game that we have is if you win, you'll go into that SODAC 16. So it's basically 2 games from a state tournament in South Dakota. So this guy's going to be amped up. So these kind of things where I am going to be able to do game management better, not open myself up. He's going to be one that is going to be perfect to test with, and put these into play.
I mean, our playbook is for any and everyone.
Mm.
It's for all coaches that it's got no one in particular. doesn't work especially well for anyone in particular. So it's kind of a one size fits all, and then you modifying it for that night and that coach. But it's not gonna be much variance. I mean, I'm pretty much a broken record. I'm like a broken record of sportsmanship. Another quick rotation here, unnecessary. And what happens? Ball goes on the opposite side, like it always does when we rotate.
Yeah. Yep.
I want you guys to now like start to every time you see a ref rotate, whether it's you on film, whether it's someone on TV, or one of your partners, just be mindful of how often the ball then goes on the other side. Maybe you guys will start to change your perspective a little
It's
bit on that.
almost a guarantee. Almost a guarantee.
Yeah. Positioning, as the ball is traveling to the shooter's hands, you should position adjust so you can see between the shooter and defender. Moving on airtime is great so that you're ready to referee the shooter when they catch the ball.
Oh, so I should have taken a step right for sure, at least just to get that air in between. Because I had backside.
Yep, stepping down. It's a professional position adjustment. In your case, if you just take one athletic step down and mark that three, that's what I would call a professional level position adjustment. When you could just show athleticism. I mean, yeah, you could just do a normal step down. I'm not saying for you to manufacture athleticism when you don't need it. But you know what I'm talking about, where you just have to that little burst to get down low enough to be able to see that angle. It just looks so
Not
professional.
a lean, but a nice, quick.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see refs do that, I say this guy or girl can work just by little indicators like that. 425.
So beats the lead.
Do you have anything up by half court? Nothing. So remember, this is Leeds' primary defender. It originates in the Leeds area. You're refereeing another defender at that time. He rips through and then gets even lower. So I wouldn't even have a whistle, but if you do, it's going to be a cadence whistle after you give the leader the first crack.
Does lead bang a travel on this? Yeah.
You were calling a foul?
I was going travel too, coming off her right foot.
You have a closed fist,
Did I?
my friend.
Woo.
So those plays when we have a double whistle and it's a travel, one person has to travel, one person has a foul, just, getting it right and figuring out what happened first. It's not like, oh, you get the travel before the foul. Well, if the foul happened before the travel, get the foul. It's just about being right. Sometimes you have to come in and discuss real quick. I had that the other day. I was calling a travel. My partner was calling a timeout. Um, we came in. I took a step towards him, and he was like, "No, he had possession first." I said, "All right, we'll go with the timeout." But it
We
just
had one
needed
of those last
an
night too.
extra, yeah. Which one you want to look at? We got about 6 left on the sheet.
103.
All right, let's look at 255 and 103.
Okay.
So just substituting the stay here signal for the wave off. Also, not showing 2 signals at a time. So if we're stopping the clock, I shouldn't see another hand doing something else.
One at a time.
On those in-betweeners, that's where I show the wave off, no shot. If it's too close for everyone else to determine, and then the referee needs to then add clarity and narrate what we have. So I would insert the wave off there and use the stay here for rebounding fouls. Also, don't confuse like stay here with pointing to the spot because sometimes they could be viewed as the same. Um, I'm using stay here usually only as the lead for rebounding fouls. You could use it in center for a rebounding foul, but not with the fist up too. And I don't think on this play when it's close to a shooting foul. Push signal. I showed you in the video, pulling your hands back as far as you can, pushing them forward as far as you can, showing that full range of motion. Jesse, how's that a foul? My girl steals it.
Yeah, well, she grabbed her arm, coach, and it was illegal and made her lose the ball.
Good. Yeah, this is good eyes here. Tough one to see because she pulls her off arm, but it causes a turnover. So absolutely, great get. And let's look at the last play, 47 seconds. Signals. The angle opposite the one you have doesn't show any illegal contact. Be sure to report the correct foul type.
Okay.
Reporting the correct foul type for me has become a thing where now I determine, well, it speaks more to like that official's accuracy level, not something like you're going to get in trouble with from a coach or somebody's going to spot it and, like you called a push when it's a hold, like very rarely you're going to have to defend yourself there. But when I see an official not report the right foul, it just tells me like you're not getting 110 on the test question. It's like a 90. It's like an 86. We want to be just 100. Possible hand check. Yeah, yeah. We're going to show a hand check here, not a hold. She has a hand on the hip. Boom. Even though she could be holding and impeding, we're not ruling that a hold as far as for foul type purposes. A lot of plays, good stuff. What other questions you have? Any other areas you want to discuss with me while we have a little time?
Um, but you hit a lot on a lot of the things that, asking my higher ups on and um that you know, a lot of the same tendencies that they want me to correct and I'm working hard on. Um, it's just making sure that what's one thing that you remind yourself, like that step down or that step away? And I know it should be second nature, but like as a center and that play drives, or even as a lead or a trail and that play drives where you get that better angle. What is it that you tell yourself just to make sure you move to get into that angle rather than trying to do this? I'm not a leaner, but um I'm just saying that that's something I'm gonna go, oh, do you have anything like that that'll
Mm.
just
No, actually, I don't. This is a good question. I don't self-talk in my positioning, I don't think. I don't think that's a connection point that I make where I say, oh, I need to move this way. For me, this is all feel of the game. This is all intuition. This is all instinct. The game moves me accordingly. Like if I'm comfortable, if I have an open look, I'm not going anywhere. If I start to lose that, well then my instinct kicks in and now I have to adjust accordingly. And it's based on feel. There's nothing I'm gonna say to myself. Self talk for me comes more in the form of shot clock awareness. It comes in the form of which defenders I'm refereeing to. It comes in the form of like having a change to more of a positive mindset if something happens, if I miss a play. That's where self talk comes in the most, I think. Um, just do anything you can to get a 100% open angle all game long on every competitive matchup. Whether you're trail, center, or lead, you just got to be open.
so say so you're the one thing I do, I struggle with pre-games because I feel like, and I know I'm not, but my mind goes, I'm insulting the intelligence of these very well trained officials, or so I'm going into a state
What,
tournament with an
what were you
what's that?
insulting? What do you mean you're
No, I
insulting?
always feel like I'm always like I feel like I'm talking down to them when we're talking about the very obvious things. And I know we're not. It's just that's how my mind goes at times. But with this going into like first time in a championship series, my what are my key focuses on? What would you for your pregame? You know these people, but you've never worked with them, you know of them. What is your pregame? What are you hitting? Um, yeah, right. What are your what would you do? What would your pregame look like?
I don't have anything special for anyone different. It's if whether that partner is 20 years in or is 3 years in. If I'm working like doesn't matter the game. I like to start my pre games just more on the human level, just talking about non-officiating stuff as we do. We don't step in the locker room and just talk about X's and O's, right? So finding a good flow to that part of the conversation and then finding that time to like transition into all right guys, so you could be a play that you like to show. Like if you have a play that could be a good transition, what are your thoughts on this play? I want to just get your guys opinion, and then they'll give you your thoughts, and that could be a good transition into all right, tonight a couple things I was thinking of, but I'm going to deliver my same pregame information to whoever I'm working with because it's the ours responsibility to go over that checklist. And no matter how good or experienced that official is, we all need these reminders every single game. We need to hear it. Either we got to give it as the R or we got to be able to listen in. I need that. Whether it's rule reminders, mechanics reminders, play calling reminders. We need it. We need all the help we can get. So that's your responsibility, right? So be confident there. Don't and back to the first point I made. You mentioned overthinking. Overthinking is only connected to negative thoughts. No one ever says, "Yo, I can't. I'm overthinking. I have all these amazing ideas." You wouldn't
Yeah,
you wouldn't label
yeah.
that as bad. So it's always when we're plugging in these reasons why we're gonna fail or mess up or make an error or saying mean things to ourselves. I suck. That was terrible. We all do
Yeah.
it. We all have done it.
Last last night was a good one with one of my partners. Is like, no nervous. He goes, don't say you're nervous, say you're excited. So then he started say you're excited. You're excited. I'm like, yep, yep, you're right. And so I just started changing, the thought process. And when, yeah, I don't want it to seem like I officiate to what the situation is, and I don't. It's just I want to make sure that I'm doing it right and I hit on the things. And the one tactic I do is, all right, guys, well, what do you think about this? How do we want to do this? This is how I do it. This is how I'm comfortable with it, but I want your take. We're a team. I'm not going to tell you everything. Kind of having it as an open forum. I mean, that's acceptable, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I want you to really double down on your confidence. You've been refereeing since you were a teenager. You're like a young veteran. You've been 25 years in and you're still in your 30s, right? So, I mean, that's amazing. I started ref when I was 30 years old. So there's no reason why you should be second guessing yourself or thinking your words aren't worthy for a veteran official. Treat everybody the same. Having humility also means like you don't think anyone else is better than you, just like you don't think you're better than them. We're all getting the same fee, right? You got paid the same amount that game.
Right. And that same veteran that I was with last night has been one that's like, Jesse, your confidence, your confidence. I'm like, yes, yep, I know.
Hmm.
Yep, you're right. I know, so um yeah,
Well, listen. Hopefully, these two IPRs are gonna be a big step in the confidence. The state championship should be a big step in the confidence, and just being here with us, like you got our support, and just have everyone on the call, like just have unwavering belief in yourself. You got to be the biggest believer in yourself all the time.
yeah,
Doesn't mean you're going to be great all the time, but you still got to keep being your biggest champ.
yeah. uh so I know for being the first one from South Dakota, do you guys have like any questions about how we do it, things like that? I know, Paul, when we first started visiting, I told you about the LNI, um that it's going to 64 teams, and that's held in Rapid City. um we have officials from all over the country that come to it, so it's pretty cool. um but yeah, and Mount Rushmore, yeah.
Hmm.
I want to talk about your shot clock here. Some questions. Um,
Okay,
I'm from Canada. We use a shot clock. All our competitions use a shot clock, no matter what.
nice.
High school, everything. Your full reset is 35, right?
Hmm. Yes,
What is your front chord reset?
35.
So,
Yep.
okay, let me give you the situation. There's 1 second on the shot clock.
Okay.
B1 commits a foul on A1
Oh, yeah, okay.
in the front court.
Hmm.
What does the shot clock get reset to?
35.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
It's
the
interesting.
only the only half reset we have is a kick or a fist,
Right. Okay.
and then if we go to a 15, we go to a 15 that way.
15. All right. Cool.
And the NFHS rule book says, or for the state adoption says 20. On that, South Dakota went to 15, and when that directive came out from the NFHS, we stayed. We stayed with the 15 just because that's what our people were used to. So,
Interesting. It's
and
cool.
we have a 30-point mercy rule of
Really.
running clock. Yep, in the
Okay.
second half, and you have to get under 20 for it to go back to regular timing.
Okay.
Yep.
Different. It's cool.
Gabe, you got anything for Jesse?
Oh, it's good stuff. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you letting us all jump on too. Just to hear from that. And yeah, I definitely will send you a message. I'm trying to get out there this summer again, so we can maybe hook up. So
Yeah, for
and
sure.
visit. We run right through Rapid City, so but
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be fun.
I
Or
like
if you
to
ever come
like
Wisconsin, look me up. So
well that that sweatshirt's enticing me a little bit. I have a share, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
That's I worked for the police department there up until I retired, so I was at every game, and so
Yes,
yeah.
I think we might be
So
visiting a little bit. I've
come
never
for the
seen
draft.
Lambeau Field.
Oh, come for the
I didn't
draft.
even think of that.
Yeah. Paul's
I'm
coming to
getting all
Wisconsin.
fanboy.
That's close to Green Bay, so
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
take you to Lambeau, Paul.
That would require me to come in the winter.
Well, we
That's
can
the
go see
best.
it in the summer. People
Oh,
come all
true.
the time. Yeah, I
I
mean
tell
we're
I I I
Would do
tell
it.
people I want to be at the -20 game in
oh no, you don't.
January.
No, it's
Really?
not fun for anybody. Let's be honest. Like
Oh,
that's not fun for anybody.
that's fair. You got to experience it, I
Although
think.
you do get a seat in the south end zone because the floors are heated, so at least your feet stay
Okay,
warm. So,
noted.
yep,
Noted. South
yep,
end zone.
south end zone.
Perfect.
So
Well, there's
they,
talk Aaron Jones might be coming back. I don't
yeah. So, but
know.
yeah, no, this was good stuff. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to jump on, and I appreciate being able to jump on and connect. So, glad the timing worked out. So we're just kind of hitting our tournament season here in Wisconsin as well. We still play halves, no shot clock. So at the high school level, so.
So
It's
you
fun.
guys then don't do, then you guys stay with the regular or the old bonus rule then?
Yeah, the 7 and 10, and so
Hmm.
yeah, and no shot clock, and so but that's what Wisconsin wanted to do. I think shot clock's coming, but our system is the way the vote has to happen with all the member schools. It would be like if it passes, it'd still be like 3 years down the road. So, but
Because they'll have to
so
budget for the
yeah,
equipment.
yeah. A lot of schools are putting it in now though, just to have it because they know it's coming. But
Yeah, those
so
Daktronic scoreboards come from South Dakota.
oh. We got a lot of those. So yeah, no, it's fun. That's what I love about this community. And Paul, thanks for all you do because it's
Yes.
connecting people and I I I refed a Canadian school in an AAU tournament and it was kind of fun to talk to them about some of the FIBA rules and stuff. So Carter, I understand a little bit, not a whole lot, but it was kind
But
of fun. One of the coaches was an official up there, so it was kind of fun to
okay,
talk the
what
differences
team was it?
from Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
U16 team or something came down
Okay,
to
cool.
Ashland, Wisconsin, because they said it's closer than going to some of their schools in Canada. So,
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
but
Cool.
yeah, so that's always
FIBA is
fun.
very
So
different.
here,
Very
so
different.
here's a question for everyone. If there's one rule that you could see changed in NFHS or for you guys in Canada, what would you like changed on an NFHS rule? Because I put in a rule change last year and I thought I was close to getting it, but it didn't go. Um, but yeah, which one?
Hmm.
I mean, for me, like the FIBA rule book has been so concise and clear and put together well for a very long time. I honestly think that the rules, in terms of rules, the game is in such a good state. I don't think that there's anything I would change. I think for us, everything is right. But in terms of high school basketball in Canada, we have weird adaptations to the FIBA manual. So I would say get rid of all the stupid high school adaptations and full FIBA federation. But yeah, 24 shot clock, 14 front court reset. The players are used to playing with a fast shot clock. It would speed up the game more.
The one proposal that I put in last year for NFHS was we changed the inbound, the delay on the inbound to a violation rather than a technical, just like we do now with, if the player goes out of bounds and it's the first one to touch it. And I put the rationale is you see it, I think a technical foul is too severe of a punishment of delay in coming on the floor. I just, you give them a violation, let's go.
Yeah, because for you guys, the technical foul is 2 free throws, right? Yeah. Okay. So FIBA kept that. We have a similar rule to that. It falls under just not playing in the spirit of the game and is a warning right away and a technical if it was put that team at too much of an advantage. But our technical foul is only one shot. So they're like, yes, go give that technical foul. We want you to go put that out there. So I think that's the reason why we kept it. But yeah, I see your rationale there. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not really emotional or particular about any rules. I just honestly I don't care. Um, I know there's going to be so many changes, and I used to care about it, and I just remember, being disappointed like when a new rule comes in. It's like, who am I to even have an opinion about, this rule book and what's in it? Just call it as is, as written. I will say this year, I would like to see clarity on the jerseys being untucked, just because I think it's a little out of control where they need to either make it more harsh or just forget about it and say you can wear them untucked, no problem. But the
I think we should have a
frequency that it's
warning.
happening at, it's too much for officials to keep up with. It becomes like excess. No, like a ref should not be talking to players 20 times a game about that. So,
I think a good solution to that is you add to the delay of game warning. If I got to tell you to do it, we have a delay of game,
yeah,
another sub article to that. But yeah, you're right. When the coaches are like, okay, tuck them in. Yeah, already did it,
they
and you
don't.
have
I mean,
those
no,
kids that,
they don't care.
yeah,
Players
yep.
need neat tucks.
Right. Yeah. God,
Yep. Mike
they don't
Mike
know
should
what to
market to
do.
players.
He should.
I actually told a player that this year because he just was like, "Oh, I just can't keep it tucked in." I'm like, "I wear knee tucks, keeps my uniform tucked in." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, they just strap on. Perfect. You could wear those. You could play in them." So yeah, that would be a good market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike from Neatuck should be petitioning for them to make the rule a technical foul and then like try to market to each team how they need tucks to avoid technical fouls.
That's genius.
I gotta send them that.
Like
I gotta send them
insider
this clip.
trading.
Yeah, right.
That's great. Yeah. No,
Cool.
it's neat. I actually had a few like Paul when you put that when I signed on. I had one guy that was working a lower level. He goes, "Hey, I saw you're on Crown Refs now." I said, "Hey, you should be the second one." He's like, "I don't know." And like there's one guy that I was working with in that game we watched, and he goes, "You told me that." Well, yes, coach, there was contact, but the contact wasn't illegal. He goes, "I've said that to a coach," and he goes, "Oh, okay." I'm like, it's simple as that. I said that I was sold on stuff like that, you know,
Yeah.
and this is just bonus. You know what I mean? So it's great. And a lot of people are I'm singing your praises. I love it. I love the different perspective that I don't want to say narrow-minded, but you just never think about branching out that far, when all of this started hitting my feeds and your clips and stuff, I'm like, I've got to take this next step. And and my higher ups were like, good for you. You're seeing that putting that time in helps, and just tweaking those little things help. I mean, I was honored to have my name on that list that came out a week ago, and so now I'm just basking it all in and getting everything I need that to make me successful for that. So this is perfect timing. and and I feel I'm hitting a stride at the right time too. My last few games, I've just got done and went, oh dang, I felt great that game. Just play calling, everything, So, and that's what I've been telling. Like I said, is that I feel like I'm hitting a stride, and it's that stride's going to keep me going a few more years. My kids are getting older and they want to start doing stuff, so you got to start seeing that end. Um, but yeah, I'm riding a pretty nice wave right now. So, and you guys are a part of it, and I appreciate you being a part of it. So, thank you.
Great stuff, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have too much more to say after that. You said it best, brother. I'm happy to have you on the team, and glad you're feeling the success and feeling the growth, and that's what it's all about. So, Thanks, Gabe, Carter. And hey, Nate, thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing well, brother. But
Hey man, yeah,
anyways,
sorry, I'm here. I'm here.
no,
Yeah,
you're good. Everything good, brother? Family's good?
good. Just at my son's basketball practice, so it's a little bit loud and wild in here, but
Mhm.
yeah, everything's good.
Good stuff. Thanks for hopping on. All right, Jesse, you're the man, brother.
No,
Have a
I
great night.
appreciate you guys. Thank
Yeah,
you, all of
have a
you.
good one.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Same. We'll see each other again.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All
Take
right.
care. Good to see you, Paul.
Thank you.
Carter, nice to meet you.
You
Yep.
too.
Nice to meet you.
Same.
Yep.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
guys.
you.